Hello, welcome to video presentation for AVIA course 220 from Liberty University by Elijah Goins on October 7th, 2019. I apologize for the noise, but this is the only way that I could set up the camera and be able to show you the projections. So, first things first. The fuel systems for a Cessna 172 SP. Let's get into it. Understanding the fuel systems. First, what kind of fuel systems does your aircraft have? Well, for my particular aircraft, it is a Cessna 172 SP built in 1999. And the fuel system it has on it is a high wing tank system with fuel injection, not carburetor. As I previously told you, the tank location is in the wings. Now, as for the tank size, you can see looking through the POH that the tank size for my particular aircraft is 56 gallons of fuel, 23 in each tank. As for the usable fuel, there is actually only 53 gallons usable, and I'll explain why. Each tank has a little bit of a unusable area of fuel in the tank where the gasoline could not actually reach to the downspout to reach into the engine. So this is considered unusable gas because the gas cannot be used or filtered out of the tank into the engine. That's why it's called unusable fuel. Now we'll talk about fuel types. For a Cessna 172 SP, my aircraft, it takes 100 fuel or 100 low lead fuel. 100 low lead fuel is blue and 100 fuel is green. Now, when going around the aircraft, you will notice and be able to check these via sump ports underneath the cowling, 3 ports underneath the cowling for this aircraft, and 5 under each wing of the Cessna 172 SP. You would sump all of these, look at the color of the fuel to make sure that it's blue. If there's any clear or anything like that, you will be able to notice a lack of color, which would be water, and that would cause you to go into a water and fuel tank checklist or submit the plane for maintenance. How the fuel flows to its destination. Well, that's pretty simple. I've told you already that it's a high-wing aircraft and the gas tanks are in the wings of the aircraft. And so there are 2 struts that go down from the wings of the aircraft onto the fuselage. Now, there are pipes and tubes, whichever you would like to call it, flowing down from the wings to the engine. Now, for like a Cessna 172, that's an older model that has a carburetor, it's just a gravity fed. But as for this aircraft, it is actually fuel pump fed. And so there will actually be an extra fuel pump on the aircraft, which you'll use when trying to get the engine started at the beginning of the checklist for engine starting. For the fuel selector, now to understand fuel selection a little bit, inside the cabin, inside the fuselage where the captain and co-pilot will be sitting, there is a knob at your feet in between both pilots, and it has, in this particular aircraft, 3 settings: left tank, both, and right tank. If you select it on right tank, the obvious will happen. It will take gasoline only from the right tank, or only from the left tank is selected that way. We keep it on both. That way we evenly distribute gas into the engine and we don't have to worry about running out of gas because we forgot to switch tanks. Fuel shutoff. So for this particular aircraft, we have a fuel injection system, and because of this, we have a fuel shut-off pull lever. So down where the fuel selector is, there is an actual knob that you can pull all the way out, and that cuts off any gasoline flowing from the wing tanks to the engine. Fuel pump. Now, we've previously talked about the fuel pump already. The fuel pump is part of the engine pulling the gasoline from the wing tanks into the engine. There's also an auxiliary fuel pump for emergencies. Fuel injection. For fuel injection, we have this in place in a carburetor in older Cessna aircraft. This is injected directly into the piston casing, in which it is mixed with air and fuel to create a combustion. So as for fuel-air mixtures, this is controlled via the next thing we'll be talking about, which is the richness knob. It has a few different names, but it's usually colored red for a non-varying pitch aircraft or propeller pitch aircraft. And you can pull that richness knob out to lessen the amount of fuel that can go in when you push in the throttle, depending on the air density around you. And as for the throttle, that controls how much gas goes into the engine. The more gas that goes into the engine, along with an air mixture, causes a larger combustion, more power, and a quicker rotation speed. And that is the fuel system of the Cessna 172 aircraft.